Hi everyone, welcome to our live feed today, and we've got cards today with Tahu. Hi Tahu.
Hey everybody, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. So for today's reading, I'm going to be doing a reading for Christine, who commented on our last live feed. So Christine, I hope you're watching, as this reading is for you. And additionally, as with all of our live feeds, for all of us, there will be facets of information that we'll be able to apply to our own lives, okay? Because with a lot of things that come through in any reading that we do, the information will always apply to the majority as well as the person that we're actually reading for. Because when Spirit communicates with us, if they can deliver a message to the masses, they will definitely do that. They take any opportunity to kind of seize the moment, so to speak. So even though the focus of our reading is for Christine, trust me, Spirit will all use this opportunity to deliver, the same message or a number of messages to everybody who watches our live feeds. So without further delay, okay, Christine, so I've already drawn your cards for you, and so what I've actually done, I've done something a little different today. So I've actually brought in a lot of healing energy today, and I've also called down the angels to assist me with this reading, and I've also got our angelic Reiki music playing, and I've also got my Reiki pyramids here as well.
And they are beautiful, they're clear quartz ones, aren't they?
Yes. So everything around you is around healing, and that, which is very interesting, Christine. Now, the other interesting thing around you too, so in terms of your question around romance with your Persian love interest, and that, first things first. So from his point of view, the interesting thing when I read him is that it's as if he wears his heart on his sleeve, okay? So basically, now when I say that, he's the kind of person who's very forward, okay, with his communication and with his point of view. Alright, so there's really not much to be hidden, okay? So pretty much what you see is what you get, I find, around him. However, when I read you, it's a little bit the opposite, okay? Where basically, still waters run deep, okay? So you're not the kind of person to be very forthright and to really air your opinion, okay? Now, all of this information that comes through will all add or build the bigger picture around your question, okay? And help to give you a really well-rounded response so that you can make the most informed decision, okay? Now, the other interesting thing, so on the left-hand side, I get your point of view, right? Everything that's going on around you. In the middle, I get really the guts of what's going on for the pair of you. And then on to our far right, I get your Persian prince, so to speak. Now, the interesting thing too I get with him is I don't feel a whole lot of compromise, okay? So when he's right, okay? Whether he's wrong, he's still right. And that. So it's that sort of a thing. So really, I guess in terms of personality, you're going to have someone who's very, very strong-willed and who's very certain about their own opinion, okay? They've got a strong sense of self, I feel, around him as well. Now, the other interesting thing too is I feel around this man in particular, he's had a number of love interests previously. And that's not a derogatory comment toward him. What I'm saying is it's basically like he's been shopping around for quite some time. Now, the interesting thing too I get is it's as if, there's one person that stands out to him that's around him at the moment, which I'm assuming would be you. And that, okay? So that's the good thing. From his perspective, his focus is definitely on you. Now, the other interesting thing too around him is that, I wouldn't... Oh, okay, so he'll definitely give you his criticisms and that, or his critiques, but I wouldn't necessarily look to him for any kind of, deep and meaningful conversation, okay? Now, again, that's not a derogatory statement for him. I just feel that that's not necessarily his cup of tea, okay? So if you're looking for someone, who's sort of a counsellor, so to speak, or someone who's very philosophical, and it's like reading Shakespeare, I would not look to him for that. However, what I will say is his insight that he does share is very accurate. Okay, so he's very discerning, and he has a very good instincts. I'll say that around him. So he's a very canny person is the operative word here, and that's like I said. When he does give you his assessment of a situation or a person or whatever the case may be, 9 times out of 10 he's usually dead on, and which is something to work in your favour. All right, now moving over to you. The good thing is that your head isn't in the clouds. Okay, that's a good thing. So as we say in the industry or in this sort of work that we do here, you're very grounded. Okay, which tells me that you're very level-headed, and which is a good thing, and it's a good balance too, good combination between the pair of you. Because I also get with him is very similar in that respect. Okay, so as I said, your head's not up in the clouds. Okay, which is very good. Now the other thing too is okay then. So for you, one thing you might want to pay attention to, in any prospective relationship, is really not to read too much into things, okay? Or not to look for not to anticipate disaster, so to speak, okay? Or anticipate failure, okay? Because that's one thing I see around you is like just the tendency to read a little too much into things, and sometimes it can be a flippant or throwaway statement made toward you, directed toward you, and you may feel like it's a personal attack. So that's one thing to bear in mind is that, just not to take things too much to heart, okay? Just to take a step back, process the information before you respond or before you allow yourself to react. And that now, all right, now around the pair of you and that, let me see. Actually, I'll draw another card. Alright, I'll say this. The pair of you definitely have good chemistry. Okay, in terms of compatibility, you're definitely compatible. And that, okay? So really, my advice to you would be definitely pursue him. Okay? Because the odds are in your favour. Alright? Now, what you choose to do from here moving forward is totally up to you. But everything that's come out, you guys are definitely compatible, okay? And you definitely have a good foundation in terms of your similarities to form a relationship. And I mean a healthy relationship, okay? But one thing to be certain of, and again, this is just another thing to keep in the back of your mind, for the pair of you, is to always make sure that the balance of power within the relationship is always equally distributed, okay? Now that's often somewhat at times difficult within a relationship, because you will always find that typically one person has a stronger personality than the other. But as I said, something to keep in mind is to always make sure that it's an even playing field, okay? And another thing too is to be very clear and direct to a sense about your intentions and your motives, okay? As well as your needs. So I find with him, clear and direct communication is what he appreciates, because that's how he communicates. Beating around the bush and, speaking in terms of innuendos or, really doesn't work, I find, with him. And that's so direct communication, being clear with your feelings, your thoughts, your opinions, and that, but in a very articulate way and in a non-combative way is another really good tip, I find, because that's, again, another thing that he will appreciate. But I'll tell you the truth. The really good thing I see around the pair of you, especially from his point of view, is that he's ready for a relationship. And I mean a stable, steady relationship. Okay? He's had his fair share of, duds, so to speak, or misses. So now he's ready for something actually, serious or more long-term and stable, and that. So I'll just see what else comes around you. Okay, then that's good. Okay. All right, and just to wrap up your end of the reading, moving forward, try not to allow yourself to be held back by again, your fears or your hang-ups. All right, so that comes back to something I said earlier, try not to anticipate failure or disaster. Now, that's not just in your romantic life, but also in other areas of your personal life and that, because you'll probably find that's a pattern of yours, and that comes back, when you look deeper and peel back the layers, it comes from a place of, a fear of, I guess, rejection, or being, it's kind of like a fear of putting your faith and your I guess pride, for lack of a better word, in someone else's hands. Okay, so that's something to think about, and be kind to yourself, especially on an emotional level, and that. But I'll tell you the truth, the path forward for the pair of you looks very positive, and that. Okay, so one more thing before I wrap up this reading is, remember, try not, in terms of your guys' communication and your guys' interaction together, remember, you're not judge and jury. You're both on an even playing field, and that, because that's one thing that you'll find that comes out. And the other thing too, is that judge and jury thing around the pair of you, and that. Alright, and one more. Okay, that ties in with what I got earlier. Okay, sorry, I'm just having a conversation with myself for a moment.
We do have quite a few questions on here too, Tahu.
And that. So, Christine, what I'll do is I'll wrap up this reading and I'll just say, you know what? The odds are stacked in your favour, okay? The road forward looks very positive for the pair of you. So just reflect on all the information that's come out, see where it applies to you, and take what you need from this conversation. But I just wanted you to get a really good understanding in terms of you guys' compatibility in terms of moving forward. So I'll leave that information with you, Christine. And you know what? Best of luck with you and this budding relationship.
Thank you so much for your question, Christine. We really appreciate it. We've had a couple of people join us on the feed, Tahu. So. Cool. Jamie was asking us who this is for. This is for Christine, this reading. Mm-hmm. But of course, if anybody would like to be picked out for a reading, they've just got to leave some messages on our live feeds or send a message to our Facebook page. So Jamie, Kayleen and Leanne have all said hi. Say hi to Tahu.
Hello. Thank you very much. Hello.
And then we've got a couple of people who have popped a question on here already. So just keep out an eye on the next live feed for you guys. And we'll see if we can get your questions answered by Tahu or perhaps somebody else here. And Stephen, who you also did a reading for, sorry, I've just got to go through all the questions here, has got a personal message. Tahu said he really wants to thank you for doing his personal reading for him. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Stephen.
So there is a few people that have popped some questions here and wanted to say hello, and quite a few people joining. Bethany and Susie's back. Hi, Susie.
Hey, Susie.
So, and Bethany's saying hi. So we've got quite a few people in here saying hello. So hello to everybody out there for watching our live feed. We truly, truly appreciate your support. And we'll try to get to as many questions as we can on the live feeds. Mm-hmm. You're welcome to go back and watch them after. You don't have to watch them live. They're always on our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And, of course, you can share them on your Facebook page if you would like.
Absolutely.
We would really appreciate that. So help us get the word out that we're doing these. And we do them on all sorts of subjects here in the centre. So whatever you've got a question on, you can pop it on there. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much, Tahu. So if somebody wants to come and have a reading with you, Tahu, what would they do?
So all you need to do is you can either contact the Creative Spirit Centre via phone, so via our contact number, so you can find that on, just Google it, or you can find it on our Facebook pages. Yeah,
it's 96257 257.
Awesome. Yeah, because struggled there. Or you can also just drop in is the easiest way to do it. Just pop in and Bob's your uncle.
Great. And we've got our healing circle tonight. It's just $5 a person if you want to come along for a healing. And at 11 o'clock we're doing an intention setting, sending healing to Mother Earth. So, and that's free for anyone that wants to come along to that tonight. We've always got stuff happening. You can just check out our Facebook or our website. And we're in Tahu's beautiful room up here. He's got got some of his artwork up there on the wall because he's multi-talented. Thank you so much, Tahu. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for sending your questions in. We'll get around to as many as we can. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Tahu. Bye, everyone.